Joining me now from a secure location in western Ukraine is Malcolm Nance, Executive Director of the Terror Asymmetrics Project. He is fighting with the International Legion of Territorial Defense of Ukraine. And Malcolm, we just watched that video of you, and Ali Arouzi was attempting to interview you for us to get more information on what you're doing. We saw those cruise missiles fly overhead. So explain to us why you are there and what you are doing.
Well, as you know, I spent quite a bit of time here in the pre-war period. And when the invasion happened, I had friends who were in Donetsk, who were in the Ukrainian army, who were writing to us and telling us, we're not going to survive tonight. We've been hit 500 times. These are graduates at Defense Language Institute. These were my friends. And, as the more I saw of the war going on, the more I thought, I'm done talking. All right. It's time to take action here. So about a month ago, I joined the International Legion here in Ukraine, and I am here to help this country fight, what essentially is a war of extermination. This is an existential war, and Russia has bought it to these people, and they are mass murdering civilians. And there are people here like me who are here to do something about it.
So that's Malcolm Nance in Ukraine, fighting the good fight. I mean, I think this is completely ridiculous and absurd. This is a kind of like war tourism. But what is your?
I don't think so. What I'm reading online is that Malcolm Nance, and I need to look more into this and him in particular. But from the initial reaction is that his particular position in the military when he was in the Navy is not a combat position. I mean, I know everybody goes to boot camp. He was an intelligence
official, I believe.
Right. So he would be better served if he wants to do this in an intelligence capacity, not with an infantry battalion that is going to be fighting on the front lines. Right. And then on top of that, he's pushing 60.
He's 61.
So a lot of. Oh, is he already? I thought he was a little under 60.
Yep, he's 61 according to his Wikipedia.
For viewers who might not be familiar with him, he's a frequent contributor to MSNBC. He's very often on Joy Reid's show and Rachel Maddow's show. I would describe him as one of the foremost pushers of the idea that Russia colluded with Trump to rig the election, the previous election. That is a view he very much represents, and so so there he is fighting, right. And I don't know what good or what you. I mean, that is, how can we describe that as anything other than like a photo op or a.
Yeah, and for that to be a clip on MSNBC is really kind of surprising, and just really speaks to the realignment that's happening, where you have on what is supposed to be the most left-wing network, Joy Reid speaking to a man in combat gear who was pushing the Russia collusion, also accused Glenn Greenwald and Edward Snowden of colluding with Russia, someone who is not trained to fight in this way, who is dressed in a way that is difficult to describe in terms other than performative, given his lack of expertise and not, right. An age and potential ability to fight in this way.
After I said rigged election a minute ago, I did not. I was describing someone else's view. My view is not. I do not think the election was not rigged. Any election, just to be clear. Sorry to interrupt.
Right. No, it's an important clarification.
How we have to proceed. So sorry.
It's an important clarification. But look, I'm having trouble processing how this can be the team that the left news flank is rooting for. Because this is the kind of thing, when I was growing up, when I was coming of political age in college in the early aughts, would have been obviously laughed out of the room as a kind of jingoistic political theater.
Don't you think also that this is, especially for an organization like MSNBC to be airing him in his combat gear, saying I've joined up? They're the news organization that says, there's certain language and certain ideas that are dangerous, right? That they're going to get people killed. Wouldn't this qualify as one of those ideas? Isn't he, in a way, rallying people and encouraging people to come join the fight? I mean, if a 61-year-old man can go and join the fight in Ukraine, what I'm also seeing online since he's posted this is many other people actually saying, I'm going to try to find a way to get over there too. So now you've got all of these like little militant people that want to go and fight in a war, and they're going to go and dress up and go fight in without really realizing this is a real war. You can get this. You could die. This isn't a game, a video game.
Right.
And what happens if an American soldier is killed by a Russian soldier in this conflict? Is this exactly the kind of escalation that some flanks of our media are hoping for?
Right. You have to be. I think you have to be very careful, especially if you're in. He's really more so in almost a journal. I mean, he's not a journalist, but he's in a commentary role for a major cable channel. And I think, look, obviously we want good reporting on what's going on in the ground. Over there, we want, some of our well-trained, respectable journalists there telling us what's going on. But any person who's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go over there, I'm going to see what's going on. Like, think about that really hard. You're putting yourself at risk. You're obligating other people to protect you if you're not capable of doing that yourselves. And just as you said, we don't want to draw the entire country into a larger conflict. So it's
why was he holding his gun? I'm just going to be really clear. Was there exigent danger, in which case maybe the broadcast from there wasn't the best place? Or is he holding it as a prop for the purpose of this news broadcast? I mean, the whole thing, I don't know, it just screams performativity to me.
Maybe he puts the gun down and he puts the press jacket back on, because that's really what he's doing over there. I don't know,
Right.
Yeah, but they were so proud of him. The network sounded glad he was doing this, glorifying, right? I mean, he's beloved.
It's clawing and scraping for credibility, because it does seem like these liberal networks always feel like the way they can make up for their ratings failures, the CNN pluses of it all, is to try to cosplay as conservatives. And that's what this looks like. It's conservative cosplay. And they don't understand that nobody would take a second-rate Republican, a second-rate conservative, when you have the real thing. And that what they really should do is try to find and appeal to their own base. And the huge swath of people out there, they don't feel like they're being served by either news network. Instead, what we're getting is this performative Fox News redux.
And it just shows us how in love with war and military all of the networks are. I mean, for MSNBC to be parading him around and saying, look at this hero. I mean, and look, people that do serve in the military are heroes in many ways. But to encourage regular civilians who are not at war to enter wartime on their own volition, it just goes to show how big of warmongers the mainstream press is. I mean, I think we're the only news organization out there right now that is anti-war at this point.
We're certainly the only reliably anti-war network. Yeah, I agree with you. We're a show. We're not a network. We're a show, right?
Yes.
But all of our despite our range of opinions on a lot of issues, the foreign policy is our kind of most united front, which I think is fine, because it is the perspective that is least represented in the mainstream media or the progressive media or even conservative media. They're all far more open to military intervention and we happen to all be quite skeptical of it. So are the people. The people are very skeptical of it. Yeah. And we're giving voice to a view that is just literally unheard of, with rare exception, anywhere else.
And it's the majority view, I think. I would bet on it.
Unquestionably.
The majority view. So,
all right, we'll be back with more Rising right after this. Stay tuned.